Hello everyone, and welcome. Have you ever replayed the same conversation over and over in your mind, wondering if you said the wrong thing? Have you ever spent hours worrying about a decision, imagining every possible outcome, or lying awake at night because your thoughts simply wouldn't stop? If you have, you're not alone. Overthinking is something almost everyone experiences at some point in life. We tell ourselves that if we think about something long enough, we'll find the perfect solution. We believe that more thinking will bring more certainty. But often the opposite happens. The more we think, the more confused, anxious, and exhausted we become. Today, let's talk about why overthinking is so dangerous, and more importantly, how you can begin to break free from it. First, it's important to understand the difference between thinking and overthinking. Thinking helps us solve problems. It helps us plan, learn, and make good decisions. Overthinking, however, keeps us trapped in endless circles. We replay the same situations repeatedly without making progress. Instead of finding answers, we create more questions. Instead of feeling prepared, we become overwhelmed. Imagine standing at the edge of a swimming pool. You can spend hours wondering if the water will be cold. You can imagine every possible feeling. You can ask other people what it feels like. But you'll never truly know until you step into the water. Life works the same way. Sometimes we spend so much time analyzing that we never actually begin. One of the biggest dangers of overthinking is that it steals our time. Think about how many hours you've spent worrying about things that never happened. How many nights have you lost sleep over situations that turned out completely fine? How many opportunities have you missed because you convinced yourself you weren't ready? Time is one of our most valuable resources, and overthinking quietly steals it from us, one thought at a time. Another danger is that overthinking creates fear where none existed before. Maybe you want to apply for a new job. At first, you're excited. But then your mind starts asking questions. What if I fail? What if I'm not qualified? What if they reject me? What if everyone thinks I'm not good enough? Soon your excitement is replaced with fear. Nothing has actually happened, yet your mind has already convinced you that failure is inevitable. This is what overthinking does. It creates imaginary problems that feel completely real. The truth is, most of the things we worry about never happen. Yet we suffer as though they already have. Overthinking also affects our confidence. Every time we question ourselves, we slowly begin to trust ourselves less. Instead of believing we can handle challenges, we begin believing we need perfect certainty before taking action. But confidence doesn't come from having all the answers. Confidence comes from taking action despite uncertainty. Think about learning to ride a bicycle. You didn't become confident by reading books about cycling. You became confident by getting on the bike, wobbling a little, falling a few times, and eventually finding your balance. Life is no different. Experience teaches us more than endless thinking ever will. So why do we overthink? For many people, it comes from the desire to avoid mistakes. We want to make the perfect decision. We don't want to disappoint others. We don't want to fail. We want certainty. But life doesn't offer certainty. There will always be risks. There will always be unknowns. Waiting until everything feels perfect usually means waiting forever. One lesson I've learned is that action creates clarity. When you move forward, you learn. When you stay still, you simply keep wondering. Imagine trying to drive a car at night. Your headlights don't show the entire road. They only show the next part of the journey. Yet that's enough to keep moving. Life works exactly the same way. You don't need to see the whole path. You only need enough light for the next step. Now let's talk about how to stop overthinking. The first step is becoming aware of it. Many people don't even realize they're overthinking. The next time you notice yourself replaying the same thought repeatedly, pause and ask yourself, am I solving this problem or am I simply worrying about it? That simple question can interrupt the cycle. The second step is focusing on what you can control. You cannot control other people's opinions. You cannot control the future. You cannot control every outcome. But you can control your effort. You can control your attitude. You can control the next decision you make. When you focus on what you can control, your mind becomes much calmer. The third step is setting a time limit for decisions. Not every decision deserves hours of thought. Give yourself enough time to gather information. Then make your choice and move forward. Remember, a good decision made today is often better than the perfect decision made months too late. The fourth step is taking action, even if it's small. If you're nervous about starting a business, research one idea today. If you're afraid of exercising, take a 10-minute walk. If you've been putting off an important conversation, send the first message. Small actions break the cycle of overthinking. They replace fear with progress. Another helpful habit is learning to challenge your thoughts. Just because your mind tells you something doesn't make it true. If your mind says, everyone will judge me, ask yourself, do I actually know that's true? If your mind says, I'll probably fail, ask, what's the evidence? You'll often discover that your fears are assumptions, not facts. It's also important to take care of your body. A tired mind overthinks more easily. Getting enough sleep, exercising regularly, eating well, and spending time away from screens can all help quiet a busy mind. Sometimes the solution isn't thinking harder. Sometimes it's resting. Finally, remember that perfection is impossible. No matter how carefully you plan, life will always surprise you. Mistakes will happen. Unexpected challenges will come. But that's part of being human. The goal isn't to avoid every mistake. The goal is to become someone who can handle whatever comes. You are far more capable than your fears would have you believe. So if you've been trapped in overthinking lately, I want to leave you with this reminder. Your thoughts are powerful, but they don't have to control your life. Don't wait until you feel completely ready. Don't wait until every question has an answer. Take the next step. Trust yourself. Learn as you go. Because action creates confidence, and confidence creates growth. The life you want isn't found by endlessly thinking about it. It's built by taking one small step after another. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear this message today. And before you go, I'd love to know your answer to this question. What's one thing you've been overthinking recently? Remember, peace begins when you stop trying to control every possible outcome and start trusting yourself to handle whatever life brings.